Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm joined today by my friend Kirby Smart. He picked his fourth recruit up yesterday from the Peach State. And so, as Mark Bowden always says, go dogs. But no, today we're going to be wrapping up Philippians 1, and tomorrow we'll be heading into Philippians 2. And Philippians 2 begins with some encouragement, but Philippians 1 ends with this theme of suffering. And so this theme of suffering isn't necessarily like the hardship in the season that we're going through with the coronavirus. It's kind of a different hardship that I think all of us will face at some point in our Christian walk. But yes, we're going to be in Philippians 1:27 through 30. You can flip there and pause the video until you get there. I'm going to read it as well, so we'll all be on the same page. But yeah, so verse 27, whatever happens, conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. Then whether I come to see you or only hear about you in my absence, I will know that you stand firm in the one spirit, striving together as one for the faith of the gospel, without being frightened in any way by those who oppose you. This is a sign to them that they will be destroyed, but that you will be saved, and that by God. For it has been granted to you on behalf of Christ not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for him, since you are going through the same struggle you saw I had, and now hear that I still have. This hardship that Paul is getting is not like the coronavirus or a breakup or not getting into the college that we want to get into. It's not that type of hardship. It's when we have opposition to our faith. I remember one of the biggest parts in my life, or stories in my life where I felt that, was I took an ethics class at the University of North Georgia. And I remember sitting and we were talking about a universal truth, or if there's a moral right and wrong. And I remember sitting there and feeling so lost and feeling so discouraged for my faith because I didn't know the answers. And I feel sometimes we have that fear or have that thought is, man, I'm not smart enough. There are people out there, I believe other things, that are smarter than me, have a better foundation than me. And Paul is talking about here. He's saying, those who oppose you, there are going to be people in our lives who aren't believers or don't take Christianity seriously and view it very childish. And we need to understand that and know we're going to face that opposition, that we're not going to be able to avoid it. And it's going to come one day or the other. But Paul gives us some encouragement. He says, since you are going through the same struggle you saw that I had and now hear that I still have, Paul is saying you're not the only one who's going to be opposed by what you're saying. The gospel of Christ is very radical. It was radical in that day because the Jews had Judaism and Christianity was a new religion built on top of what Christ did. And there are a lot of people who didn't believe what he did was true. A lot of people felt like the disciples, and other people were biased to believe what Jesus did and were pushing on this false doctrine. And the disciples and Paul were doing everything they could to defend that Jesus Christ is who he says he is and did what he said that he did. But Paul's saying, you're not the only one that's going to go through this. Back to my story when I was at North Georgia, I had, there was this guy who sat behind me. I don't even remember his name. But all I remember was when we talked about moral laws and truths and big theological discussions, he was the only one in that class who would defend Christianity. And I remember sitting back thinking, I don't know, I'm not on that same level. I still got a lot of knowledge I need to acclaim or to gain, but this guy behind me, I feel so encouraged because at least there's someone who can defend Christianity when I can't. And so to wrap up our devotional day, because I want to make it really short, is this. Just some encouragement. You're never going to know everything, and that's okay. We can read as many books as we want, listen to as many lectures as we can, but there's a mystery in the gospel of Christ. His love, his death, his sacrifice on the cross is all mysterious because it just doesn't make sense. And there's always going to be questions that people have that are going to take us some time to process and take us time to get answers for. And that doesn't mean that we're inadequate or that what we believe isn't true. It's the same way if somebody were to ask me to do calculus right now. Yeah, I took it in college, but I still need to sit down and refocus and understand and study it before I can help somebody. It's the same way. Just because you don't feel equipped in the moment doesn't mean that you're not equipped, and you never will be equipped. Sometimes we need time to process questions. And so that's some encouragement. Just realize every person is like that. We're all will face opposition, and we all need resources and others to help us get there. And two is, if there are any questions you have about your faith or big, deep theological questions that you just feel like you don't have an answer to, or that you want to answer to because it's really keeping you from diving closer to Christ, I challenge you to find somebody who you trust, somebody who you look up to, and ask them those questions. See if they can give you some guidance, if they can help lead you to an answer, or help lead you to a path to an answer, or if they can give you resources to help get you there.